Hi everybody and welcome. Welcome to my video on how I let fear hold me back and how I got past that. So I have 4 steps for you and how I have started to do that for myself. First step is that I listen to a lot of things, but they've all started to be positive. A couple of years ago, I started listening to good podcasts, obviously probably music. I started taking some online courses, and all of those things, all of those people always spoke positivity into me and explained to me that fear is irrational. Fear is something that we make up because of whatever reason. Most of the time, we fear success, we fear failure, but all of those things are just irrational because we're afraid of what might happen if we took those steps, if we made those scary moves, if we did the things that we wanted to, that we were afraid to do, that might move us forward, and we don't really believe that we could have something better or move towards that spot or be in the place that we want to be. So something just clicked in me at one point that said, I can actually do this. Okay, fear is irrational. How can I get past it? How can I switch my thinking to get past letting fear hold me back? Which ultimately led me to my number 2, which was I thought back into my childhood of how many things, even going back to grade school, how many things held me back. Like when I qualified to go to the geography bee, and I sat there and told my teacher, I don't want to do this. And she looked at me and told me how disappointed that she was. And now that I think about it, I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of not knowing the answers. I was afraid of getting up in front of my entire school, which would have been really cool to say, hey, look, I qualified to be here. I knew the answers. And instead, I was afraid to do it. I was scared. And I let that hold me back. Number 3, I started to let myself take easy steps toward my fears. I let myself believe that I could do something more. The belief in ourselves is so huge sometimes that we believe that we can't do something. We believe that there's no way you can make that work. There's no way you can do that. Look at all these people. And we put these people as like some sort of superhuman thing, when in all reality, a lot of the people that we idolize used to be just like us. They used to have these same fears. So once I kind of realized that and started believing that I could do it, it's really crazy how that really shifted my mindset. And then I started taking really small steps towards what I wanted to do. For instance, I wanted to be a public speaker on self-image, which you might have seen my video on that. Or I want to be a public speaker to help people move past their negative mindsets, or like this one, believe that you can do something and get past those things that hold us back. So what did I do? I went to a Toastmasters meeting. I figured out that I needed to polish my steps, polish my skills, polish myself up, and learn how to perfect that skill. So one night, I took a really deep breath, got in my car, and walked into a Toastmasters meeting by myself. And it is one of the best steps I've ever taken, and the atmosphere was so supportive, and also I would recommend Toastmasters to anyone who wants to polish that skill. But it's steps like those that I took. It was steps like those that just kept moving me forward and started giving me the guts to say, okay, what's the next step? Number 4, I started posting my journey on social media. I used to be one of those people that said, I'm never going to do that. I don't want to read those posts. I don't want to do this. But then I started kind of having fun with it and saying, okay, look at all these people who really could benefit from my help, could benefit from my journey, could benefit, and maybe they're not quite ready to come forward and work on it yet. Maybe they're not ready for this step, but when they are, they will hopefully remember reading my posts on what I did, how I overcame all of these things, and how I put my fears of what people were going to say, what people were going to think, what people were going to look at my post and say, oh my gosh, quit doing this. And I got past my fear of what people were going to think, my family especially. That was my biggest one. What are they going to think when they see me posting on how low of confidence I used to have? How, all of these things that have affected me throughout my life, what are they going to think? And I had to get past that and say, it's my journey. This has been how I've learned it. Look at how I've turned myself around. Look at the confidence that I have now. And I started posting on social media, and the more I did it, the more comfortable I got with it, and the more I said, okay, I can do this. And on days when I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious about it, I think there is somebody out there who needs to see this, who needs to hear what I have to say, and who needs to see that I'm feeling like this, but I'm doing this anyway. I'm moving forward, and I'm trying to move up. Number 5, I realized that fear gave me sort of an adrenaline, sort of this energy that most of the time we fear away, and we kind of sit down and say, okay, I'm afraid, I'm not going to do this. I started using that adrenaline to say, okay, fear, I see you. Now let's move past this. I'm going to use you, and I'm going to go do this anyway. I'm going to go post this anyway. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to tell people what I'm doing, even though I'm probably terrified to do it. And I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to move past you, and it's going to get easier every step, and I'm going to use the energy that you're giving me, and I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to do what I believe people need to see, people need to hear to move forward in their own lives and know that they can do it too, that they can move past their own fears. All they have to do is take those tiny steps, not leaps and bounds, the tiny steps. It's possible to move past your fears. All you have to do is take a deep breath, realize the fear that you feel is in your head. It's something you've made up because you don't want to, or you're not going to let yourself believe that you can do this. You can do this. It's figure outable. You just have to figure out how much you want to, whether it be going abroad, whether it be that dream career, whether it be owning that beautiful house that you drive past every day, or that awesome car that you drive behind past that awesome house every day. But either way, everybody has their own dreams and their own fears that are holding them back. So those are the things that I did to help myself start moving past my fears. And hopefully you'll take those into account. What are you going to do? Go take those steps and move past your fears.